Hey, second graders, Mrs. Cole here for the last day of Dr. Seuss week. So you already learned about the Lorax, you learned that it's a real animal, and you did all these other fantastic things that centered around Dr. Seuss this week. So today I figured it would be really fun and interesting to go ahead and make our own Dr. Seuss characters. Kind of like what Dr. Seuss did with the Lorax and how it's based off of a real monkey. We're going to go ahead and use this packet that you have to make our Dr. Seuss character. So in this packet, you have 3 sheets of paper. You've got this one here that says to roll a Dr. Seuss character. This one behind it that has where you're going to write. And then the very last page has a paper die that you can cut out. So I want you to go ahead and rip off the paper die page, okay? And you're going to try your best to stay on these lines and cut it out, okay? So you have it like this, and it needs to look like this. So once you've cut your die out, you got to be very careful not to cut the little flappy pieces here that have the numbers on them, because you need those to help you fold it. So we're going to make the paper die. You're going to take your paper die and on all of these little dashed lines, including the ones that are on the flappies, excuse me, you're going to fold it. So I'm going to fold. I'm going to fold again. Fold this one. Fold this one. Every single line. You fold it and open it back up. That way it's easy to fold. Now, the flappies are probably the hardest part when it comes to folding. So you're going to try your best to fold right on the lines. But if you can't, that's okay. Have an adult help you, because this is the very technical and tricky part. All right. And Mrs. Cole's is already kind of pre-folded. So that's why I'm able to do it so fast in the camera. Trust me, when I was doing this the first time, it took me a little bit longer because I was trying to make sure that it folded nicely. Okay, so once you've gone ahead and you've cut it out and you've done all your folding, you'll take your little shape. And so here's the one in the center and the 4 is at the top. I'm just turning it around. I'm going to put up this side, so it looks like this. There's the 2 and the 5. I'm also going to raise up the 4, and the box itself will start to fold together kind of on its own. So the 3 and the 1 flaps will get covered up by the number 4. You've got flaps 5, 6, and 7 showing at the top, and then 4 and 2 showing on the sides here. 4 and 2 will get covered by 3. 5, 6, 7 will be covered by the number 6. And you're going to either glue each of those little flappies, or you're going to tape it. So for those of you who are gluing, let me show you what it would look like. So I'm going to start with covering up flappies 1 and 3 with the number 4. Okay, so I'm going to, so I've got my paper out just so that I don't get glue on my workspace. I'm going to cover up 1 and 3 with my 4. Okay, so flappy number 1, glue. Flappy number 3, glue. I'm going to bring it back up, and I'm going to push 4 onto it. And I'm going to try to make sure it's not caving in. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now that's holding up. Now I can go ahead and look at this side. I've got the numbers. It's kind of hard to see, sorry. The number 2 and then the number 4 on the other side. I'm going to cover those flappies up with the number 3, okay? So I'm going to set it back down. Got my little flappies. It's going to be a little trickier because now there's nothing to really help keep its form. Okay, and then I'm going to close the 3 over it. I'm going to reach in and pinch. Make sure it's lined up nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I need to close the top. I've got flappies. You can't see it. 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to cover those up with the 6 here. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue, as much glue as I can, on the 6. So here it is. Glue, glue, glue as best I can. It gets trickier the more you've glued because there's less structure to help you keep the flappies from moving. All right. And I can close the 6 on top of it, and I'm actually not going to try to pinch because there's no openings, so I'm just going to flip it upside down and push down kind of gently but firm. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there I've got a paper die. Ta-da! That's kind of hard. So if you have trouble with that, please ask an adult to help you build your paper die. Once you have built it, though, we can go ahead and actually start the building of our Dr. Seuss character. So you are going to take your packet that now only has 2 pages, the one with the dice and the options for your character, and then the other one that has the writing. You're going to detach them, so pull them apart from each other. Okay. So on this sheet, we're going to glue our character into this open space that has, room for a picture, right? This sheet is what we're going to use to cut out. So you'll cut out the head shapes, you'll cut out the tops, you'll cut out the eyes, cut out the mouth, cut out the extras, cut out the nose, depending on which one you roll. So I recommend this order. Do that, and I would actually mark it on your sheet too. First, we're going to do the head. So I'm going to write the number 1 under head, so I know to do that one first. Then we will do the top. So I'll mark number 2. Next, we're actually going to do the mouth. So under mouth, we'll write the number 3. Okay. After that, we'll do the eyes, which gets the number 4. The nose, which will get the number 5. And then extra gets the number 6 because it's the last one. So the order that we're rolling for, first we'll roll for the head, then we'll roll for the thing that goes on top. Then we're going to roll for their mouth. After that, we'll roll for their eyes, then we'll roll for the nose, and then roll for the extra. And there's a reason, and you'll see why. Okay, here we go. I'm going to roll for my head, and then that's going to tell me which one I'm going to cut out and glue onto my sheet that has the writing space for me. Come on, a number, any number. Okay, I got the number 2. So I'm going to look at my sheet, look at head. Here's the number 2 die. On the head column, this is the one I'm going to cut out. So I'm going to carefully take my scissors. I'm going to go from the top. And I'm going to cut out that head. If you don't want to cut and roll and then cut and roll, you could just circle the one that you're going to do so that you remember. Okay. So I'm going to cut out the outline of this head. And no, I don't have these pre-cut because I wanted it to be genuine. I didn't know which ones I was going to get. So I wanted to do the activity with you guys. So I'm going to cut out this head as best I can. Beep-beep. My little head. And then just to make sure that I don't lose it because it is so tiny, I'm going to glue it right onto my page. There's no bodies or anything, so I'm going to make sure that I put my head up high enough so that I can actually draw a body to go with it too here in just a bit. So there's my head. Oops, whoa. You guys were falling. There's my head. See it? All right, now I'm going to keep going. Next, I'm going to do my top. I'm going to take my dice and I'm going to roll it, and whatever number I get, that's the top I'm going to cut out. A 2 again. Oh, goodness. I have a feeling this is going to be a theme. Okay. So I look at top. Here's 2. So top and 2 right here. So that's the one I'm going to cut out. Oh, boy. All right. So my top is a bow. Oh, boy. Just going to cut it out. and then I'll trim it up a little bit. So I'm not cutting exactly on the little lines because those lines are very little. I'm just kind of cutting around it so that there's not so much white, because then it'll cover up other things on my Dr. Seuss character. So here we go again. Don't know if you'll be able to see it, but at least I can try. So I've got my little bow. I'm going to put glue on the back of it. Just kind of drag it across the glue. Bloop. It's got glue on it. I'm going to put that on the top part of my character's head. So now it looks like this. Okay. And we're just going to keep on going and keep on doing it. So go ahead and pause the video. You kind of have the swing of things. You're going to go through and do it in the correct order. So if you've been doing it with me, we've done the head, we've done the top. Next, I'm going to do the mouth. And then after that, I'll do the eyes, then the nose, and then the extras. Okay. So go ahead and go through, do all your rolling, cut out what you need to, start gluing, and then I'll see you back here when you're all done for us to add more detail to our Dr. Seuss character. Okay, so as you're going along, just in case you were having a hard time or you needed some help, I already went ahead and I cut all my things out. So I got a 2 for my head, a 2 for my top, then I went down to mouth and I got a 6, then I went to eyes, I got a 4, then I went to nose and I got a 1, and for extras I got a 3. So I have them all laid out here on my paper in the right order. Here's my mouth, my eyes, my nose, and then my extra. And I'm going to put them on my paper in that same order, because if you do it out of order, other things are going to cover up other things. So your eyes might be covered up by your nose or your mouth. And that's not really how it would look, right? So here I am, got my pieces, and this is going to be hard for you to see just because it's white on white. So sorry. Trying to see if I can catch the shadow. Okay, so there's my head and my top. I'm going to put my mouth on first. So I'll glue that before I do any of these other ones. So mouth first. Wow, the mouth is huge compared to the face. They've got such a big mouth. I'm actually going to make their mouth a little bit smaller. And that is totally okay for you to do because these mouths are pretty big. So I'm going to keep the same kind of shape. It's an oval. I just made it smaller so that it fits a little bit better. She's got a huge mouth. Okay, and then I'll do the eyes on top of it. Oh my gosh, her eyes are massive too. But that's okay. They're Dr. Seuss characters. They're supposed to be silly. So there's my huge eyes. And then my nose, which is also massive. Oh, goodness. Hopefully you guys got head number 1 or number 4. Or actually any of them other than this really tiny one that I have. Hold on. I'm going to space it out a little bit. This is what I was afraid of. Okay, so I'm going to move the mouth down so that there's room. And then I'll put the nose on top. Oh, goodness. That looks pretty silly. And then my extra was the eyebrows. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those on there. And I put them in this order because certain things can cover up other things, but other things shouldn't be covered up by certain things. So like if you had eyebrows, you shouldn't cover them with the eyeballs, right? So mine looks super wonky silly. If you can see it. And I might just add a little more detail to the head to make sure that the shape is correct. But once you have all of these little items on there, you can go ahead and draw the body for your character. So just think about, you know, are they going to have fur? Are they going to have scales, feathers, regular skin? What color are they going to be? How many limbs do they have? Meaning like how many arms, how many legs? Do they even have arms and legs? Are they a blob? How do they move? Can they jump? Do they have fingers? Do they have toes? Do they have a tail? Do they have like tentacles? Like what do they look like? So now is your time to go ahead and think about what your character looks like, draw them out, and add some color and more details to this Dr. Seuss creature that you've created. Then when you're all done, go ahead and hit play and we'll come back and we'll work on the writing part of this. Okay, so once you've gone ahead and done your work on your character, you're also going to think of a name for it. So we've talked about rhyming and nonsense words and things like that. This project is going to require that you name your character after your name, so your first name, and then a word that rhymes with it, okay? And if you want to throw on another word at the end to just make it sound good, that works. So for example, here's mine. This is what I ended up doing with my face that I had. I colored in the face, colored in the nose and some spots. I added some crazy hair to it. It's got wings and then like a shirt that kind of has these drapey things that come off of it and hands and feet. And it's flying right now in the background. It's hard to tell in this video, but it's kind of like a blue. So I'm showing that it's in the sky. And it's called an Olivia, which is my first name. An Olivia Tivia. So Olivia, Tivia, they rhyme. They both have the Ivia sound in it. So Olivia, Tivia, 2. And I'm deciding to spell 2 like that. I know that's not how you spell it. But with Dr. Seuss, you can spell things however you'd like as long as it makes sense, right? So you'll come up with a name for your little character. And then I want you to tell me about it. Come up with a quick little what does it like? What does it not like? How does it behave? What are some of its actions? What story maybe is it from Dr. Seuss if you want to put it in somebody's story? So like mine would probably be a creature that you'd find in maybe the Lorax or one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, one of those random characters from Dr. Seuss. So for mine, I might say something like Olivia Tivia 2 can fly. It has big hair and crazy bangs. And it has purple skin, or I could say like it likes to eat pizza, or I could say it enjoys flying through the park, or whatever it is I want to write about it. So come up with 3 things about your character and be ready to share this with your teachers next week, or you could just send it in as a Canvas submission if you would like. But otherwise, that's it. So I hope you had fun creating your own Dr. Seuss character, and I cannot wait for you to share with your teacher or to share with me what it is that you came up with and your ideas about your character. Okay, second graders, this is Mrs. Cole signing off. It was so nice to work with you, and I will see you again soon. Bye, second graders.